So, I know a lot of people have been wondering, is this place a Jedi temple? What is Ahsoka doing here, and why is this place getting destroyed? Well, I think I might have an idea. This place is most definitely a Jedi temple, and I believe that I know what is taking place here. What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to Cantina Talk. So, we have now gotten the setting in all four of the trailers, and I believe that it might have some significance. I have gone through and re-edited the clips from this setting, as well I'm going to be giving an in-depth breakdown of this place and what it all means. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play for you the new re-edited version of the trailer for this section.
You never made things easy for me, Master. Something's coming. Something dark. I started hearing whispers of throng.
With Ahsoka, it's time.
Not here to discuss my past. I'm not lost.
So with that, I know the audio doesn't line up with each one. This is because the footage is from 4 different trailers, each edited differently with color correction, VFX, audio, etc. I took some of the scenes and extended them with the footage that we previously gotten, and now I'm going to go through shot by shot to break this down for you all. We start off with a shot of Ahsoka and Sabine aboard Ahsoka's ship. The reason why this is here at the beginning is because if you look closely at the holo projection on the table, it is of the Jedi Temple area. There are 4 red arrows here, and I believe this is going to correlate with the ending where the temple is going up in flames. I believe that Ahsoka and Sabine are going over this area and making a plan on how to destroy it after Ahsoka leaves. This would make a lot of sense due to Ahsoka being a Tony Stark from the MCU and learning from not only her mistakes, but the mistakes of others. What I mean by this is, in Rebels Season 2, Episode 18, Shroud of Darkness, Ahsoka, Kanan, and Ezra all enter the Jedi Temple in Loth Maul. While they're inside the temple, the 7th sister and the 5th brother find the temple and end up entering it, thus causing the destruction of the temple with Ahsoka, Kanan, and Ezra inside, but luckily they're all able to escape. This is what is making me believe that Ahsoka might want to destroy this, due to her not wanting Shin or Baylan to find it or access it. This would make a lot of sense too, based off of the golden orb that we see later on in the trailer, which could be of value to Baylan and Shin, and ultimately, Morgan Elsbeth. The next shot is from the first teaser trailer. This is of Ahsoka walking up to the temple. Along with this, it is continued with the following shot of her still walking up to it. And if you look closely to the left here, you could see this pillar that is draped over on its side. This is going to be an important piece of information later on. This is then followed by a brief shot of Ahsoka taking off her poncho, and if you look closely behind her, that is the same leaned over pillar. This is then followed with a shot of Ahsoka standing at the center of this area. Behind her once again is the same pillar, along with the circular object that's in the middle, which I believe used to be used as an entrance. Also, if you look around, there are no signs of Morgan Elsbeth's droids. We know from later shots in the trailer that they are definitely going to be here, and so this is why I have it at the beginning. Ahsoka is then seen throwing down her sabers into the ground, making a hole for her to drop down through. This is invoking the last episode of Clone Wars where Ahsoka does the same move to save her and Captain Rex. If we also want to take this one step further, this was also in a deleted scene from Revenge of the Sith where Anakin and Obi-Wan use this to escape getting captured by General Grievous on his ship. We then get the continuation of this with Ahsoka falling through the hole in the ground and into the temple. It is very brief, but if you take a look at the walls behind her, they seem to be connected to the same ones that we see later on. Following this, we have the shot of Ahsoka looking upward as she is getting up from the previous shot when she is falling down. If you notice, the wall behind her here is also the same. This is then followed by the shot that is presumably what Ahsoka is looking up at, and if you look at the wall and the engravings, not only do they look very similar to the daughter from the Mortis arc in Clone Wars, but also looks like the centerpiece moves along. This kind of reminds me of the puzzles from Jedi Fallen Order as well as Jedi Survivor. With that, we also have this golden sphere in the middle, which I believe is what Ahsoka and Sabine originally came here for, thus preventing Baylan and Shin as well as Morgan Elsbeth from acquiring this. After that, we have the shot of Morgan Elsbeth's droids jumping over the walls and into this area. We also see Ahsoka standing here with her sabers activated. If you look directly behind Ahsoka, there is a hole, and that is the hole that she had cut into the ground. Presumably, Ahsoka just jumped out of the hole to get back out. Also, in front of Ahsoka, we see that same pillar that I had mentioned earlier. By the looks of it here, we see only 3 droids, but I believe there are actually 4, and that the other one is blocked by the droid that's in the foreground. This would have Ahsoka surrounded in the situation. Quickly, before I move on, if you notice, the two droids haven't started progressing towards Ahsoka yet. This is then followed by two shots, the first one being a close-up of what I believe is the first droid that is going to initiate this fight. For sake of context, I'm going to call this one the leader. The leader is then seen starting to spin his staff, initiating the fight. The next shot is of a droid that we hadn't seen before, and this is the one that I believe was obscured by the droid that was in the previous shot that is also behind Ahsoka. We also have the shot of the droid that was to the right of Ahsoka, and it starts to spin its staff, presumably following the leader droid that had initiated with his. Lastly, once again, if you look behind Ahsoka, the hole in the ground is still there. This is followed with a very brief shot of the droid that was to the right of Ahsoka, and if you look closely, it is getting hit by her saber and falling down. Although Ahsoka doesn't seem to hit it very hard, making a thorough cut through it, so therefore this droid isn't eliminated yet, and if you look, the droid just falls to the ground. While this droid is getting back up, Ahsoka diverts her attention to the leader droid that was in front of her as she blocks his strike. This was the end of the shot, but we got a semi-continuation of this later in the trailer. This is where the leader droid is now to the left of her, while the droid she originally knocked down is now back up and to the right of her. This droid then gets eliminated. I believe in this situation, the leader droid is going to move to the left and circle around her as the other one is getting up, thus continuing this. I believe that Ahsoka is going to make quick work of these droids, and then she's going to be tasked with arming the charges that were set, presumably while Ahsoka was inside of the temple. Next, I have a shot of Ahsoka running out of the temple while Sabine is flying Ahsoka's ship overhead. If you notice too, the landing gear of the ship is coming down. I believe that Sabine is not only trying to get a clear spot to land, but give Ahsoka enough space to get away from the blast radius and aboard her ship before the explosion reaches her. This is then followed by the shot from the official trailer that is a close-up of Ahsoka running away from the temple. If you look in the background, you can clearly see the temple is being blown up and the explosion is starting to gain on her. This then correlates with the next shot. The next shot is of Sabine landing Ahsoka's ship as she's running towards it, and if you look, Ahsoka is further away from the temple here. To conclude this, I have another shot of Ahsoka running away from the temple and the explosion. But if you notice, the blast from the explosion is starting to gain on Ahsoka here. I believe that Ahsoka is going to make it just in time before the blast hits them. The final shot is of the fire and the blast that is fully destroying the temple. Unfortunately though, this is the last of the footage that we currently have of this area. If we do get more footage from this area or any of the other areas I've mentioned in the previous two videos, I will then make a video further breaking it down. I am now going to move on to the theory part of this video. I believe that this setting is going to be taking place later on the show, if I had to guess, maybe episode 3, but it could also be the conclusion of episode 2. Since by this point, Ahsoka has already picked up Sabine from Lothal, and with that, Sabine's hair is still long here. I think that this is going to be taking place after Hera and Ahsoka have talked about her walking away from Sabine, and Ahsoka is going to get her because she needs her help. Ahsoka is seen another time later on picking up Sabine once again on Lothal. When she does go and pick up Sabine though, her hair is cut, and she is fully geared in her Mandalorian armor. I think that Ahsoka is coming to Sabine because she would know the best course of action when it comes to setting this place ablaze. Sabine is a demolitions expert, and the last time Ahsoka had something to do with the bombing, she ended up getting framed and leaving the Jedi Order. Lastly, I would love to hear what you all think is going to be the significance of this place, and what it may hold, not only for the future of the show, but for the overall story as well. I'm really excited for the show to come out, and I know a lot of you are as well. Quickly, I would just like to say that I'm going to be doing live watch parties of these episodes when they release at 2 AM on Tuesday nights. I would definitely love to see some of you guys there. With all that being said, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And lastly, may the Force be with you all.